Hey everybody, how's it going? So today I thought I'd try something a little bit different. If you've been around the YouTube art scene, for any amount of time, you've probably heard of LavenderTowne. She's an artist, and I think she does comics or something, but she does a lot of art tutorials and just like really soothing little videos. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of her art style. I think it gets kind of same-facey, but, just watching her videos is just really relaxing, just watching her work. And she has a really soothing, nice to listen to voice. So I do appreciate those things about her. And I do have some tutorials of hers that I would highly recommend for anyone just getting into digital art. But I noticed something about her intro, and it's just I just feel like it could be a little bit better animated.
Hey everybody, it's LavenderTowne.
So if you take a look at this intro animation, right, it looks a little chunky, like it's got the texture of a chunky peanut butter rather than the smooth, creamy kind. And that's normally not what we want for animation, right? So first off, there's a lot of things going on in such a short amount of time, and it's just kind of crazy and chaotic, and it's just wild to look at. And also, you'll notice that the eyes are a little bit too obviously tweened. It's like they're just two drawings. Like, it's got the open eyes and it's got the blink, but I feel like it could be way smoother than that. And also the arms are especially, I feel like they're not moving very smoothly. They're just like a few drawings and that's it. And also the skirt isn't moving at all, which I find a little weird. And also her bangs and little side hair thingies, they aren't really moving with her head. So I don't know, I feel like those are a few things that we can make better. So let's go do that. So here I am narrating a playback of what happened actually a week ago. So based on, all the tweening in LavenderTowne's old animation, we can safely assume that the character was rigged. So I'm going through the rigging process right now in this little speed animate. So what I did was I drew all of the different body parts on separate layers. I just sketched them out, and I didn't really want to trace over the original because under normal circumstances I would have if it was my original design, but since this was someone else's work, I felt a little weird about that. I'm trying to separate out all the layers and trying to add my own little style, my own little flavor. This sketch actually ended up looking kind of like the main character of Star versus the Forces of Evil, which I haven't seen because I heard the ending was disappointing. So anyway, normally when I do eyes for rigged characters, I sketch out the bottom eye layer and then the pupil and then the eyelid above it. I don't keep the eyelid and the eye on the same layer because I feel that gives me a lot more flexibility in animating. So yeah, and I decided to separate out the hair as well, and then I took the little eyedropper tool and I sampled a lot of colors from the original model, and I would eventually use those colors in my own, but right now we have to do cleanup. So what I did was I actually went on the same layer as the body element that I was working on and just, drew a black line. There's a way in Harmony where you can select a layer and then delete a certain color on that layer. And the color I wanted to delete was these blue sketch lines. And for you'll notice for the hair, I actually used red, just to separate out the highlights and the shadows from the rest of the hair that was solid. I did that by using Harmony's Draw Behind tool, which is very, very helpful in making little markings and shading that you want to be separate from the actual outline. And then what I did was I selected each layer and pressed the asterisk key, which converts the line art to color art, and it's super, super easy and super fast for coloring. So now comes the rigging. And oh boy, you guys, I struggled. You know, I'm not the best rigger in the world. You know, my forte is more hand-drawn animation. But so initially I tried to use bone deformers for the arms and the hair and such. But that ended up working not so well. So in the end, I settled on curve deformers for the arms and the hair and even the skirt. You know, I figured it would just work out better for me in the end. You know, again, I'm not an expert on rigging, so, you know, there might be a much better way to do this, but this is the way that worked for me in this particular instance. So then for the actual animation, I kind of scrubbed over the initial dialogue and I kind of drew out the poses that I wanted for each little word said, and I wrote out the text of each little syllable, so that would be easy for me to go back when it was time to animate the mouth and get the proper mouth shapes. For this animation, I wanted a little bit more personality, you know, just a little bit more carefree fun than just raising an arm and and having the other arm be basically static. I settled on an ending pose with her hands together and her arms in front of her. It would convey her sweet, demure personality, but it would still have more character than the original. So after I sketched all of that out, I had to accomplish the monumental task of getting the rigs to work properly the way I wanted them to. You know, it was kind of a task, I'm not gonna lie. But you can see me trying to match the poses that I sketched out with the actual rig. I find that sketching out animation, just no matter if I'm rigging or drawing, it just always helps me. And yet, so I had to make all these tiny little adjustments to the curved deformers, and I had to make some new drawings for the eyes so they can blink. And of course I had the eyes on their own transformation peg so that they could get a little bit like they can expand and contract, and the pupils can expand and contract. I thought that would be a nice touch to add and, you know, just give the entire animation a little more bounce and, again, a little bit more personality. So I animated the mouth last because I wanted to get the body movement and the eye movement in before I got the lip sync. So I just kind of used the original as a guide for how the mouth should look, just to kind of get a little remnant of what the original style was. I tried to add a little bit more mouth drawings than she had in the original. And finally, I just kind of polished up the animation. I wanted it to look like it was on twos, like regular traditional animation, rather than on ones. Like, I didn't want it to look too smooth. So I started deleting keyframes in the timeline. I know there's a faster way to do that in Harmony, but this way I kind of felt a little bit more in control rather than just letting the program do all of it for me. I was kind of a micromanager in this case, I have to say, but all in all, I think it turned out well. I believe the total time it took me to animate all of this was about 3 hours. So, you know, it's not an insignificant amount of time, but in animation terms, this is pretty fast. I got this done in a weekend. You know, it's like, if you want to put in just a little bit of extra effort, it doesn't take that much more time.
Hey everybody, it's LavenderTowne. Hey everybody, it's LavenderTowne.
And here's the result of all my hard work. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I hope you found this video helpful or entertaining in some way. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.